friends, I am Mr. Smart. Today we are going to discuss about the topic time, speed and distance. Friends, just imagine as I am offering you a job, and the job is you have to deliver a package from here to a place, and that is 300 km from here. And also I am giving you a bike, and that is Suzuki Hayabusa. Assume as there is no obstacle in your way and you are riding the bike in 100 km per hour. So after how much time you will reach your destination? Simply 3 hours, right? And how did we got the answer? We know total distance equal to 300 km and speed of bike is 100 km per hour, which means in 1 hour it will cover 100 km. And 2 hours it will cover 200 km, and 3 hours it will cover 300 km. And that is one way of finding out the answer. And the another way is just dividing 300 km with 100 km per hour, and we'll get the answer as 3 hours. And this one we can write it as an equation, and that is, we know that 300 km is total distance and 100 km per hour is speed and 3 hours is time taken. So total distance divided by speed equal to time taken. Friends, this is a basic equation that we have to learn in time, speed, distance. If we represent the same equation in a triangle, it will be like this. Here D is distance, T is time and S is speed. From this triangle, we can find 3 equations, and that is time t equal to distance by speed, and speed equal to distance by time, and distance equal to time into speed. Try to remember this triangle when you are solving the questions, okay? Friends, for better understanding of questions, we can look into the changes happening to these terms under uniform condition. First one, uniform distance. Let it be our previous distance 300 km and speed is 100 km per hour, so time will become 3 hours. Now I am increasing the speed to 150 km per hour, so time will become 2 hours. I am again increasing the speed to 300 km per hour, so time will become 1 hour. From this we can find when speed increases, time is decreasing. So that we can say for uniform distance, speed is inversely proportional to time. Similarly, for uniform speed, time is directly proportional to distance. And for uniform time, speed is directly proportional to distance. Friends, keep these things in your mind when you are solving the questions. Another important thing that you have to look into is conversion of units, and mainly for speed, because most of us are making a mistake on that. Conversion of kilometer per hour to meter per second. We know 1 kilometer is 1000 meter and 1 hour is 3600 second. And on dividing that, we'll get an answer as 5 by 18, which means 1 kilometer per hour is equal to 5 by 18 meter per second. So for converting kilometer per hour to meter per second, what we have to do is just multiplying that value with 5 by 18. Directly we will get the value in meter per second. Similarly, for converting meter per second to kilometer per hour, we have to multiply that value with 18 by 5. Now let's try some basic problems. Assume that you are traveling to your friend's house at a speed of 60 km per hour and you took about 2 hours for reaching there. What will be the distance you have covered? So let's solve this. In the question, they have given us speed is 60 km per hour and time taken is 2 hours. We have to find out the distance, and we know that distance is nothing but speed into time, right? And we know the value of speed and time. So simply it is 60 multiplied by 2 and we'll get an answer as 120 kilometer. Okay. Now we can go for another question. A car is traveling at a speed of 90 km per hour. How much time it will take to cover 900 meter? In this question, distance is 900 meter and speed is 90 km per hour. So if we check the value, the unit is different. So for equating the unit, I have to multiply 90 km per hour with 5 by 18. So we'll get an answer in meter per second. So 90 into 5 by 18. Simply we'll get an answer as 25 meter per second. Now we are having distance and speed. And from the question, we have to find out the time. And we know the equation for finding out time. And that is distance divided by speed. Just substituting the value in the equation. Simply it is 900 divided by 25. And we'll get an answer as 36 seconds. Hope you understood the answer. Now we can move on to another question. Walking at 4 by 5th of usual speed, Arun will reach the railway station 15 minutes after the train departure. Then what is the usual time taken by him to reach a railway station? From this question, we can find distance travel is same. And we know if distance is same, speed is inversely proportional to time. In the question, they have mentioned us walking at 5 by 5th of his usual speed. Since speed is inversely proportional to time, we can say time taken as 5 by 4th of usual time. And this 5 by 4 time we can write as 4 by 4 time plus 1 by 4 time. And here 4 by 4 is the usual time taken and 1 by 4 is the extra time taken. And from the question we can find out he is 15 minutes late. So this extra 1 by 4 time is 15 minutes and time t is nothing but 15 into 4. Simply it is 60 minutes and that is nothing but 1 hour. Hope you understood this. Friends, we have covered all the basics of time, speed and distance. Now we can go to the next level. Now let's discuss how to solve problem which involves multiple speed, distance and time. For solving those kind of question, we need to figure out the type of speeds that we have to use. Mainly there are 3 types. One is average speed, second one is relative speed, third one is effective speed. So let's discuss the first one, average speed. We know average is simply sum divided by number and speed is distance by speed. So as a collection we can say average speed is total distance divided by total time taken. For better understanding, we can go for a question. Distance between city A and B is 60 km and B and C is 80 km. And traveling from city A to city B you took about 3 hours and from city B to city C you took about 4 hours. Then what will be the average speed of your journey? Here we know the equation for finding average speed and that is total distance divided by total time taken. And here total distance is 60 plus 80 and that is 140 km and total time taken is 3 plus 4, total of 7 hours. And on solving that we'll get an answer as 20 km per hour as speed. Hope you understood this. Now we can see how to find average speed in uniform conditions. First one, uniform distance. Imagine you are going to a college at x km per hour and coming back at y km per hour. Here distance is same. How we can find out average speed? We know average speed is nothing but total distance divided by total time taken. Since time is not given, we have to find individual time. We can consider distance as d. So for x speed, time will be equal to d by x and for y speed, time will be equal to d by y. Applying the same in the equation. Here, from home to college and college to home, we are traveling the same distance and we have taken that distance as d. So total distance taken is d plus d and total time is d by x plus d by y. On solving that, we can write as 2d divided by dx plus dy divided by xy, and taking d as common, we can write as 2d divided by d into x plus y divided by xy, and d will be cancelled out, so we'll get an equation as 2xy divided by x plus y. Friends, for uniform distance and only 2 speed is given, by using this equation we can find out the answer. And if 3 or more speed is mentioned, the equation will change accordingly. Remember this, okay? Similarly, for uniform time, for finding average speed, we have to take the sum of speed and that is divided by total number of speed, which means if there is only 2 speed is given, simply it is x plus y divided by 2. Now we can solve some questions on average speed. If a car goes at 50 km per hour and 60 km per hour for 5 hours each, what is its average speed? Here, time mentioned is same and only 2 speed is given. Therefore, we know for finding average speed, the equation is x plus y divided by 2. And for here, simply it is 50 plus 60 by 2. And it is 110 by 2 and our answer is 55 km per hour. Let's try to solve another question. If a car is traveling from A to B at 50 km per hour and return from B to A at 60 km per hour, then what would be the average speed? Let's try to solve this. Here the car is covering the same distance and we know when distance is constant and only 2 speeds are mentioned, then average speed will be equal to 2xy divided by x plus y. Applying the values in the equation, simply we can write 2 into 50 into 60 divided by 110, and it is nothing but 6000 by 110, and we'll get a value as 54 and 6 by 11 km per hour. Hope you are clear with the sum. And now we can discuss about relative speed and effective speed. Friends, keep this thing in mind. We'll use relative speed when there is no contact between the objects, and we'll use effective speed when there is a contact between the object. And this is the easiest way for finding whether we have to use relative speed or effective speed. We can start with relative speed, okay? Assume a policeman is chasing a thief and the speed of policeman is 3 meters per second and the speed of thief is 2 meters per second, and initial distance between them is 4 meters. And if it is like that, after how much time the policeman will catch the thief? In first second, policeman will cover 3 meters and the thief will cover 2 meters, and distance between them will be only 3 meters. In the second second, as a total, policeman will cover 6 meters and the thief will cover 4 meters, and distance between them will be only 2 meters. Like that, in third second, distance between them will be 1 meter, and in fourth second, it will become 0, which means the policeman will catch the thief. So, we can say after 4 seconds, the policeman will catch the thief. But guys, this is a long process, right? We have to make it simple. We know there is no contact between the objects, so we will consider relative speed here. If we check the question, we can find for every second 1 meter distance is decreasing, right? And that 1 meter is a difference of their speed. Or in other ways, we can simply say if the objects are traveling in same direction, the relative speed of them will be equal to difference of their speed. Now let's consider two objects are traveling in opposite directions. Let A and B are those two objects and speed of A is 3 meter per second and speed of B is 2 meter per second and they are about 10 meters apart. After how much time they will meet each other? Here the objects are traveling in opposite direction, which means in first second object A will cover 3 meter and object B will cover 2 meters. In the second, A will cover 6 meter and B will cover 4 meter and they will meet each other. We can say after 2 seconds they will meet each other. If we divide that time 2 seconds with the distance 10 meter, we'll get an answer as 5 meter per second and that is nothing but sum of their speed. Which means we can say if objects are traveling in opposite direction, then a relative speed will be equal to sum of individual speed. Okay, now let's try to solve some questions. Imagine you are going to your friend's house and that is 120 km away from your place. You are traveling in your car at a speed of 40 km per hour. But unfortunately, your friend is on your way to his office, which is in the opposite direction, and at a speed of 20 km per hour. So after how much time will you meet your friend? Let's try to solve the question. Here we know there is no contact between you and your friend, and you are traveling in the same direction. So simply relative speed will be equal to a difference of individual speed. Your speed is 40 km and your friend's speed is 20 km per hour. So difference of speed is 20 km per hour. Now we got the relative speed. Simply we have to find out the time. And for finding out the time, we know the equation and that is distance by speed. And here distance is 120 km and speed is 20 km per hour. On solving that, we'll get a time as 6 hours. Hope you understood this. For the same question, now your friend is on the way to your house. Then, after how much time you will meet your friend? In this question, you and your friend is traveling in opposite direction. So simply, relative speed will be equal to sum of individuals and your speed is 40 km per hour and your friend's speed is 20 km per hour. Adding together, we'll get an answer as 60 km per hour as relative speed. And we have to find out the time taken and that is distance by speed. Simply it is 120 by 60 km per hour and we'll get a time as 2 hours. I think you understood the way of solving the question. Now we can discuss about effective speed. And remember, we have to consider effective speed if the objects are in contact. Actually, effective speed is just opposite to relative speed. It means in effective speed, if the objects are in same direction, we have to add the speed. And the objects are traveling in opposite direction, we have to take the difference of speed. For understanding much easier, we can go for another topic and that is boats and stream. Assume you are rowing a boat downstream in a river and downstream means same direction that a river flows. Speed of your boat is 10 meter per second and a river is 5 meter per second. So according to a man standing in the river bank, at what speed you will be traveling? Simply 15 meter per second, right? Here we can find there is a contact between boat and stream. So here we want to consider effective speed. And since boat and stream traveling in same direction, effective speed will be equal to sum of individual speed. And for this case, it is equal to speed of boat plus speed of stream. Similarly, if boat and stream traveling in opposite direction, effective speed will be equal to difference of speed, which means speed of boat minus speed of stream. Now we can try to do some problems. A boat can travel with a speed of 13 km per hour in still water. If the speed of the stream is 4 km per hour, find the time taken by the boat to go 68 km downstream. From the question, we can find speed of boat is 13 km per hour and speed of stream is 4 km per hour. And since it is downstream, we have to consider effective speed in same direction, and that is speed of boat plus speed of stream, and that is equal to 13 plus 4, and that is nothing but 17 km per hour. Now we have to find out the time taken. We know time is distance by speed, and here distance is 68 km and speed is 17. On simplifying that, we'll get an answer as 4 hours. Hope you understood this. Let's try to do another question. A man's speed with a current is 15 km per hour and the speed of the current is 2.5 km per hour. The man's speed against the current will be dash. In the question, they have mentioned as man's speed with current is 15 km per hour. Simply we can say that is downstream, and since it is downstream, it will be sum of boat speed and stream speed. And we know speed of stream is 2.5 km per hour. On substituting the value in the equation, we can write as speed of boat plus 2.5 equal to 15 km per hour, and speed of boat will be equal to 12.5 km per hour. And here in the question, we have to find out the speed of boat against the current, which means upstream. And we know for upstream, it is the difference of their speed, and that is speed of boat minus speed of stream. And here we can substitute as 12.5 minus 2.5, and we'll get an answer as 10 km per hour. Hope you understood this. Now we can discuss about one of the confusing kind of questions under time, speed and distance, and that is problems on trains. Mainly there will be two type of questions. First one is train is crossing a stationary object, and second one is train is crossing a moving object. And the first one we can divide into two, and that is stationary object without length, and second one is stationary object with length. For second one also there are two categories, and that is moving object without length and second one is moving object with length. Friends, remember this one also. For stationary object, we'll consider only the speed of train, but for moving object, we'll consider it as relative speed or effective speed. In both cases, we'll consider the length of train also, and this is a most important thing in the problems on trains. For example, if the train is crossing a lamppost like this, here length of the train is considered as distance. And in this one, the train is crossing a platform, which means we know platform is having a length and train is also having a length. So we'll consider the total distance to be covered as length of platform plus length of train. Similarly, for moving objects also, we'll do the same. Now let's try to solve some problems. We can solve two problems from stationary object and two problems from moving object. First question. A train of length 1 km is crossing a lamppost in 1 minute. Find the speed of train. Here they are mentioning about a stationary object lamppost, and distance to be covered is the length of train, and that is 1 km, and we can write as 1000 meters. And time taken by the train is 1 minute, simply 60 seconds. How to find speed, and that is distance by time. Here distance is 1000 meter and time is 60 seconds. On dividing that, we can write as 100 by 6, but that value is in meter per second. We have to convert it into kilometer per hour. For that, we are multiplying that with 18 by 5. So we'll get an answer as 60 km per hour. Now we can try to solve another question. A train of length 900 meter is crossing a platform of 100 meter in length. Speed of train is 90 km per hour. How much time the train will take to cross the platform? Friends, this is a question that having a stationary object with length. For this one, total distance to be covered is the length of train plus length of platform, and that is 900 meter plus 100 meter, and the answer is 1000 meter. And speed of the train is 90 km per hour. Since it is given in km per hour, we have to convert it into meter per second. So we are multiplying the value with 5 by 18 and we'll get an answer as 25 meter per second. In the question, we have to find out time, and we know time is distance by speed. And here distance is 1000 meter and speed is 25 meter per second. And on solving that, we'll get an answer as 40 seconds. Let's try to solve another two questions that are having train and moving objects. First one. A train crosses a man going in the same direction in 8 seconds. If the speed of the man and train are 5 meter per second and 25 meter per second respectively, find the length of the train. And since there is no contact between train and man, here we have to consider relative speed. And for finding relative speed in same direction, we have to find out the difference of their speed. And simply it is speed of train minus speed of man, and that is 25 meter per second minus 5 meter per second, and we'll get an answer as 20 meter per second as the relative speed. Time taken by the train is 8 seconds. For finding out the length, we know that is the distance covered, and the equation for finding out distance is speed into time, and that is 20 into 8. Simply our answer is 160 meter. I think you are clear with the answer. Now we can go for another question. Two trains of length 140 meter and 160 meter are moving towards each other on a parallel track at a speed of 44 km per hour and 64 km per hour respectively. In what time the train will cross each other from the moment they meet? The question, we can find two moving objects, so total distance to be covered is a sum of length of train 1 and 2, and that is 140 plus 160 meter, and we'll get an answer as 300 meters. Since there is no contact between the trains, we have to consider relative speed, and the trains are moving in opposite direction, so relative speed will be sum of the individual speed, and simply it is 44 plus 64, and we'll get an answer as 108 km per hour. Since the length is in meter, we have to convert speed into meter per second, and for that we are multiplying 108 with 5 by 18, and we'll get an answer as 30 meter per second. And now we are having distance and speed, and in the question we have to find out the time, and time is distance divided by speed, and here distance is 300 and time is 30 meter per second. On dividing that, we'll get an answer as 10 seconds. Hope you understood the solution. Friends, the concept of time, speed and distance is almost over. Now it's your turn to practice with the questions, and if you are having any doubt with any of the question, you can give it in the comment section, and I'll definitely give the solution for that. So friends, if you like this video, show some love in the form of like, share and subscribe. See you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.